And welcome everyone. And now wait a minute. Okay, I just hit screen share, Greg, and it's popped up a box that said advanced sharing options. But it's not letting me share.
You may have gotten an update.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'd like everybody to mute yourselves and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the Scout Oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. The Scout law: a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And the Outdoor Code: as an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, and to be conservation minded. Okay. We are in April. And so thinking about Earth Day and Arbor Day when we celebrate both, it's very much in keeping with everything with the Scout. And so I thought I would put this quote up there for everyone. Okay. So, we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. And so please take that message with you as we go through everything. Okay. And now I will turn it over to Greg for council updates.
Hit all the right buttons. Thank you, Ellie. And there we go, through them all. So a number of events coming up, of course. WOA continues this month, April 23rd, up at camp. The Cub Scout elective adventures have been popular with the packs that have been coming up. So Lynn Leonard and her team will be continuing to offer those through June. So for each Cub Scout rank, she's offering 2, sometimes even 3 different electives that they can participate during the day at the activity center, as well as all of the other activities that we've been offering, and hoping for a return to shooting sports with the warmer weather as well, and getting ready for opening other program areas such as our our climbing tower for our May. Well, 2 districts have spring camporees on the calendars. I don't have a whole lot of information about the Appalachian Trail one coming up at the end of this month, but I know the Metacomet one has their leader's guide and information on the website for May 13th through the 15th, and they are doing a advanced pioneering based event up at the Franklin County Fairgrounds. So look on the calendars for those 2 events for our older Scouts, and reminders of nominations to recognize those as volunteers that have been doing so much for our units and our districts and the council, with Silver Beaver nominations due at the end of April 30th. I haven't heard deadlines yet for any of the 3 district awards, but you can reach out to them directly to get some more information about those. And all 3 districts have now had their Pinewood Derbies, which were a great, a lot of fun to be able to be at. I got to 2 of them, and the Council Pinewood Derby is scheduled for May 22nd. It's a Sunday afternoon out at Gary Rome Hyundai in Holyoke. So the top 3 finishers in all of our classes from the 3 districts can go online and register for those themselves. Always reminders about training. So we have the MyDOT Scouting, and we've been seeing more and more leaders taking care of some of their basic training online. And the AT continues to offer their online series So the 19th of this month will be Merit Badge Counselor training. So if you don't want to do the video recordings, you can go on. This is in person, and some of them are online. So double check on the calendar, but you can do it there with other people. And recently added is the belay training from our climbing team. So Saturday, April 23rd up at Moses, that is the WOA day. They will be doing the first part of belay training, and then you have the option to return at either the next 2 WOA weekends and get more of your hands-on practical training. And so that sign-up's online. Baloo, kind of our last couple calls here for our Cub Scout leaders to get their basic adult leader outdoor orientation training. And a reminder that for packs to have an overnight activity, whether it be the full pack or Weeblos Dens going out to do it, somebody on that camp out does have to be Baloo trained. And Wood Badge is this fall, and I know Mary Benjamin would love to see you signing up for that course. If you have questions, you can reach out to Mary, and she'd be happy to answer those for you. So 2 weekends this fall, and that used to be a 6-day course. It's now a 5-day course. So those of you that work the traditional Monday through Friday, it's just a single day off of work request as opposed to the 2 in the past. NYLT is also open, and registrations are starting to come in for that. And just a reminder that currently, based on BSA's staffing requirements for youth leaders, there is a separate girls troop and boys troop, and same with the leaders, that we currently have the ability to have 6 female learners and up to 42 male learners. And Jim Burke is the point of contact for that, or Mary Benjamin can answer as well. Ways to get involved: district committee meetings. I don't think a single one would turn away somebody dropping in just to see what it is. Those are on our calendar as well, and the nights of the month are listed there for you. The 3rd Thursday of every month, we have a council coordinated committee meeting, and we look for all the folks involved with district operations, membership, all the program activities, training and advancement come together for that meeting. It's usually about 50 to 60 minutes long, and just coordinate what's happening across the council. And the next workday up at camp is on May 7th. It's a Saturday, and all hands are needed. There is so much to do up at camp. Come on up, even if you can just spend part of the day, come on up and bring some work clothes and help improve our camp for this upcoming camping season. Speaking of camping season, the dates are up on the screen now. Week 2, a couple of weeks ago, became completely full for resident camp, which is exciting for us. But that does mean that some units are trying to find other dates that'll work for them. But we have plenty of room on our other 4 weeks, as well as our new specialty week at the end of the month into August for Trail the Eagle and an aquatics program. And looking for staff members, Joshua Hall is especially looking for an outdoor skills director, and that person either at our scout craft area or could also oversee our trails head if we don't find a director for that. We do need a camp commissioner for the entire summer. We have Rob Lusty's going to help us out for 1 week. And we are looking for provisional scoutmaster, some folks to help out in the kitchen with our chef, waterfront folks. But metalwork instructor is an important need, and we are in need of some more Cub Scout staff for Rebecca Hall, including a shooting sports director for Cub Scouts. So if you're interested in helping out there, reach out to Joshua Hall or Rebecca Hall for the Cub Scout area. Our service center store hours have not changed. There's a reminder there of our special Saturday openings coming up in the next 2 months. And again, if you're going up to WO and want to call in an order, we'd be happy to bring that up there for you. So I did have a question about these hours. They are the store hours at the service center. There's almost always somebody in the back offices working Monday through Friday between 8:30 and at least 4 o'clock. So if you need something, call ahead and see if somebody's there, or ring the doorbell. But the doorbell's not on the door that leads to the store. It's really out on the door that faces the road, right in front of the parking area. Thank you, Ellie.
Joshua, do you have any news for us from the council commissioner end of things?
Just a couple things to quickly update. One, as always, I would like to thank everybody who has done such wonderful work on making sure that charters were in on time, or that charters have been coming in. We are getting where we are just about wrapped up with the whole charter season, just in time to probably begin again as soon as we possibly can. One of the pieces of information that should be coming forward within the next couple days from your district commissioners is the 2020 Journey to Excellence scorecards were released. So they are now available. I received them this afternoon and then quickly passed them on to the district commissioners. So they are now in their hands and should be coming out and made available to the units relatively soon. As Greg had mentioned, if anybody's looking for a commissioner position that they'd like to do for, a little bit of time during the summer, it's not a huge commitment. It's only, pretty much the month of July. So that's a very short period of time. I would love to have a conversation with that person about being the camp commissioner for the summer. But as Greg pointed out, there are a couple of other things that are available, and it's important to go to camp, whether you're going to our camp, which of course we would like you to come to Horace A. Moses Scout Reservation, but go to camp, really is the main message, because scouting is about camping as well as many other things. So make sure that you are making arrangements to do some kind of camping. And as always, if you have any interest in commissioning, by all means, let me know. I'd be happy to have that conversation with you. Thank you, Ellie.
Thank you, Joshua. Do we have any other district updates from Appalachian Trail, Rebecca? No? Okay. Anything from Metacomet? And I don't have any other updates from General Knox. Greg covered it all. Thank you, Greg.
Ellie.
Yes.
I'm just going to jump in for AT District and the spring camporee that's coming up at the end of the month. Mm-hmm. Just a quick update on that. The theme for the entire weekend is supposed to be Indiana Jones, and it will be taking place at the Lee Sportsman's Club. So there's that.
Thank you so much. Okay. Fritz, do you have youth protection promo?
Yes, thank
anything?
you. Thank you, Ellie. Just briefly, please make sure that your youth protection is kept up to date, and unit leaders, please follow up and make sure that everybody that's registered in your unit is up to date with youth protection. Mine expires this month, so I'll be taking it. I know when mine is. I hope that you all know when yours is. So please keep that up to date. That's very important. Unit leaders who are not current in youth protection should not be meeting with youth in any form. And if I can, Ellie, I want to just pick up on something that Josh did for us this afternoon. He sent out the Journey to Excellence scorecards, and I'll be sending those out to General Knox unit leaders later this week. There was a cover letter, so I just want to mention a couple of things from it. One is that the standards are written as activities that the unit will do. You've heard me say this before. The emphasis is that the Journey to Excellence is primarily a planning tool. So you should look over the scorecard when you get it and see what it is you can do to keep your unit or make your unit a quality unit so that you are delivering the best scouting program to your youth. And I'll also mention in the cover letter, National says that the Cub Scout Scorecard has many changed standards, so Cub Scout leaders be aware. This is because of changes in the Cub Scout program. So please look these over when you get them and talk them over in your committee meetings and use them as a planning tool. And again, the whole goal here is not to catch people in doing something wrong, but rather that you can figure out how to make your program better. And if you need help, you can reach out to your unit commissioner who can help you with areas that you would like to improve. So that's what the commissioner staff is for, and we're here to help you. So please reach out to us if you feel neglected or don't hear from us. Please give us a call, and we'll be happy to do everything we can for you. Thank you, Ellie.
Okay, thank you, Fritz. And to piggyback on that, the Roundtable team is going to be starting their planning for the upcoming Roundtable year. So any of the leaders, whether it's Scouts, BSA, Cub Scouts, Venture Crews, or ships, if you would like us to do some breakout sessions or a hot topic around the JTE scorecards, please throw that into chat this evening so that we can have that on our list of things to plan for next year for you. Okay. Cheryl, do you have anything regarding membership that you wanted to share? Is Cheryl here tonight? Okay. Anything from Art about FOS fundraising? I guess not. Anybody from OA? Any updates from the Order of the Arrow?
I can just add in that the Order of the Arrow is having a spring fellowship this coming weekend up at camp, and information is on the website about that. But one of the things that has changed for this event is they are inviting any of the candidates that have not yet gone through their ordeal to join them on Saturday afternoon, and I believe dinner as well. So if you have any scouts that have been elected but have not gone through their ordeal, you may want to pass that information along. And their ordeal weekend is the weekend of May 13th, 14th, 15th up at Moses.
Thank you, Greg. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Rebecca, who wants to share some information about STEM Awards.
All right, STEM Awards. All right, so here's for STEM, it's our science, technology, engineering, and math. Now all of our scouts can earn it, starting at the rank of Wolf right up through our Scouts BSA, Adventuring, and Sea Scouting. Each one has a different color patch. They got a cool little pie piece if they earn more than one, and then they can earn a Nova Award. So in our Cub Scout program, they have about 11 different ones under different categories here. These are the categories and options for our Scouts BSA and our categories for Adventuring and Sea Scouting. If you've noticed as you're looking through here, there are some common themes. For example, Up and Away. You find that one in our Cub Scouts, our Scouts BSA, Adventuring and Sea Scouting. There are a couple other ones that kind of are similar throughout the three groups here. So let's look at what we need to do to earn a STEM award. Now, this is for kind of just a basic overview for what you would see to earn Swing for Cub Scouts, Wish for Scouts BSA, and Hang On for Adventuring and Sea Scouting. So all of our scouts, they have to do some type of a designated time of watching, reading, or a combination of the two. For this particular award, they would have to read something about motion. Our Cub Scouts would have belt loops or adventure pens that they have to earn. Our Scouts BSA and older Scouts, they have merit badges they would earn for that. And then they would do some investigation on some simple machines and how they work, designing their own. They also get to explore the different classes of levers or older scouts. You know, if they wanted to, they could go to an amusement park. Our younger ones get to design a playground structure or items for an amusement park. Just as a side note here, though, for any of the retired requirements for the Cub Scout belt loops or adventure pens, they have on their forms, they could do either option A or option B. They have a little bit of leeway on that one. All right, so what do we need to do as leaders to help our scouts earn the NOVA awards? Well, you must be a NOVA counselor, so you need to be 21 years or older. Register as a NOVA counselor, and you put the position code of 58 on your registration fee or registration application. You must be youth protected training before you start working with the scouts, and you should complete counselor training that you can find at my.scouting.org and under the Learning Center. You want to look for STEM and Scouting, not to be confused with STEM Scouts, because there's two different varieties. If your scouts have earned at least 2 NOVA awards, they can, if they choose to, they can work on a Supernova award. Cub Scouts have 2 in the bronze category. They have Luis Alvarez and Charles H. Town. Our Scouts BSA have 2. They have the Dr. Bernard Harris and the Thomas Alva Edison. And Venturing and Sea Scouting have 3. They have Dr. Sally Ride, the Wright brothers, and Dr. Albert Einstein. If you start them as a Scouts BSA, they can kind of shift up into the Venturing and Sea Scouting if they wanted to continue in that field. What do they need? The Scouts need to do to earn their Supernova awards. Our Cub Scouts, they have some more ventures and belt loops they earn. This is for the Luis Alvarez. They have to research him. The other ones is they have to do research for the Charles H. Town. They have to research some people in the STEM fields. They have to do a STEM activity within the classroom and explore a STEM career, and be familiar in the scientific method and work that out and show the process. And then participate in a STEM activity that's put on by the Scouts BSA or a venture crew or a ship. And for our Scouts BSA and venturing crew and Sea Scouters, they have belt loops to work on. They have Supernova activities for the troop. They have to make an oral report about it or some type of report about it. They also have to research a STEM career, and they should put on a STEM related program for their fellow Cub Scouts, and also be familiar in the scientific method and do a project that shows that. And so what do we need to do as leaders to help our scouts earn the Supernova Award? We can register as a Supernova mentor. So for this, you also need to be 21 years and older. You must be a subject matter expert in the STEM fields. Register. The applications is submit a Supernova mentor information to the local council office, be youth protection trained, and should complete the Supernova mentor training at myscouting.org. Yeah, and that's what I have.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Greg, looking at the time, can you give us 25 minutes for breakouts, please? And then we'll come back, close to 5:08, have a little bit of leader forum time, and then we'll do the closing after that. So
I will, Ellie. I do want to just, one thing I didn't get into my slideshow, but I want to give everybody the heads up. Program launch was scheduled for the first Monday in June, but another event has requested us to move. So we are going to move our annual program planning launch to Saturday, June 11th. It's a very busy day, but we're going to do that at Moses. It's during WOA. It's during our camp staff orientation. We have an open camp, open house for summer camp that day. And the idea is going to be that a lot of the information for your programs will be out and about in the field as you walk about, and we'll have a picnic lunch. So all registered unit leaders and all registered leaders are welcome to join us. The lunch will be provided for you for free, and lunch, more information will come out about guests, but also free entry to WOA for registered leaders. So Saturday, June 11th, and the popcorn kickoff is happening at program launch, Beth. So lots of stuff is going to be occurring there up at Moses. So.
All right, so tonight we're going to be talking about Cub Scout camp. So I know Iris has been there, but I don't know if I recognize any of the rest of them. Oh, Aaron.
And I've been there.
Him. Yeah. I know you've been there. So this year's theme for camp is Wild West. And it's going to be Wild West theme for both Scouts BSA and for Cub Scouts. It's a fun program. You can come any of the weeks. There are 4 weeks to choose from. You can go as a full week. You can come, or you can go as a day camper, which is usually 8 a.m. to 5. You can do overnight, which means you come in on a Sunday and you go home on a Saturday. You can do a full week. You can do a short week, which comes in Monday, go home Wednesday, or come in Wednesday and go home Saturday. So, and I happen to be running the program this year for Cub Scouts. So we will be doing a lot of Western type of theme activities. Not so much, most of our activity, it will be doing camp activities, not so much of rank requirement activities, but we will be doing some of the things that we will do touch bases on rank, but not necessarily specific for all ranks. Let's see. One of the things that we do is shooting sports. So we do archery, we do BBs and wrist rockets. We also get down to the waterfront, do our swim test down there. We go. We have climbing, we have handicraft, we have scoutcraft, we have nature. I think that's all of them. I think that was all of them. I was working on my schedule earlier today. Oh, yes, no, this one. If our scouts are there during the evening, we have, I am putting together, we're doing some STEM activities as well in games. If our scouts are there in the evenings and there for overnight, I do have some more evening activities. Last year on Tuesdays, we had the watermelon shoot, which was really fun. So I plan on trying to have that again this year. Also, having a game night, having talking about astronomy with the kids, and there was one other. No, maybe that was it. We have 2 campfires. We usually have our open campfire and our closing campfire. We have those activities as well for the kids to do. So there's a lot of things for the kids to do. Do you guys have any questions, ideas? Anybody want to volunteer to come work with me? Either for the week that you're there, you come volunteer all 4 weeks.
I have a question.
Sure.
For day camp, they're going to have the swim test too, because I know last year we couldn't do the swimming stuff for the day camp. This year they're going to do it.
If the weather holds out, we will get to the waterfront. We will have our swim tests. Yes.
Also, I'm going to be the first week, so I can help you the first week in July. I'm going to be there with 4 of my scouts. So.
Awesome. Thank you.
The plan is for the 2 scouts that I have in Bears, try to come the 3rd week of July.
Okay.
I've never been to camp, so I may or may not make it. I have no idea. Like, it's just, we're trying to sell the maple syrup stuff so that we can get them to camp, plus scholarships, and then trying to figure out how to, pay for me to go if I were to go, or, how that goes. But if I do make it, you can use me because I'd rather not be bored.
Okay. I think typically, if you guys are coming and staying overnight, I think usually you get 1 liter free if you're staying overnight.
Yeah, and I believe the second year is like $100, I believe.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought that it was only Boy Scouts that got liters free, from what I understand. Because I just joined with my son the end of December, and I've never. I'm brand new, and I'm winging it, and that's all I got.
No, that's okay. I think it goes for the Cubs as well. That would be a good question for Greg. Yeah. Let's see. I think for some of the activities for STEM that we're going to be working on, we're going to be working on trying to build like a grass hut. No, not grass hut, a sod house. There was another one. I'm gonna drive. Let's see from our activities here. We'll be making camp journals, edible fires, lanterns. We have some games that we're going to be doing. So I love to be able to teach our kids to how to square dance or to line dance, going with our Western theme. I don't have any information on Weeble's Woods.
I don't think anything's been put out there yet for that.
I know I haven't heard anything.
There was something in an email. That's the only reason why I found out about it, is because it was talking about in June and it had the dates on it, but anything else you went to go find, it was like in years past information.
Yeah, nothing's been published yet. And I think Fletcher has a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just one question. So my son right now, he's in 3rd grade. He's a bear.
Mhm.
On the website, it's kind of a gray area when it comes to an adult accompanying them for resident camp. It says it's recommended. So I'm not really sure what that means. Is that for current bears? He's going to be finishing grade 3 right now.
So he'd be a 4th grade. So it would be recommended, especially if he's not. Has he camped with the unit before?
Yeah.
Has he been camping?
Yeah, he's been to Moses a few times. And
Okay. So as long as the leadership that's out there with him that would be comfortable having him and without parents out there, that would be. It's usually for the younger scouts. It's usually for our lions who have just crossed over into tigers, the tigers and the wolves. It's the really young kids that really are looking forward to having a parent with them that are staying overnight. The slightly older Cub Scouts.
It's usually bear and above we have some flexibility with.
Yeah.
And what does it mean with like a provisional unit? Like, how do we know who they're going to be paired with, or is there any knowledge that the parents would have about that?
So a provisional unit is, they would put that, it's almost like a provisional unit for a Scout BSA camp. You would be grouped with other packs that may be camping there as well, but they don't have the sufficient adult coverage. And that would be, you would learn more about that more towards summer camp once we have the numbers finalized.
In the years past, I've been down there as a professional scout leader, Cub Master, and I've taken on scouts that have not had, or just randomly coming in from different units. So I would take whomever, and they would be in my campsite. And I made sure that they got to where they needed to be, and followed everybody around and make sure everybody got to bed.
Another question, they're going to be all together like last year, or they're going to divide it by rank this year too?
As of right now, they're going to keep them together as like last year. I haven't seen numbers come in yet, so it depends on how many I have of, if I have a lot of young scouts or a lot of older scouts, I might split them up. That it would be dependent on how many scouts I have that come in.
Okay.
Love to have a lot of scouts come in.
That would be nice.
It would be very nice. It really would be.
I was planning to try to stay resident camp this year, but my little one was like, no, it's like, okay, let's go day camp again. I know someday you're going to be ready.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, William is like, nope, I'm not ready. I'm not okay.
No. My oldest in Scouts BSA is like, I'm going to spend all summer there. Going, okay, go right ahead.
Well, does he really have an option with you up there, Josh up there?
He could be at his grandmother's.
Yeah, I don't think you would like that.
No,
I think
he
you'd
likes
rather
it.
be camping.
Yeah, Connor rather be at camp because if he's at his grandmother's, he knows he's going to get stuck at summer school. So
I would do it.
it's like, yeah, nope, going to go camping. It's like, okay.
So the other thing I want to make you guys aware of, because I'm a unit commissioner as well, and I've been reminding my newer Cub Scout parents crossing over into Scouts BSA who have never done summer camp before, especially the overnight sessions, you're going to need your ABC medical forms.
Mhm.
And that requires the C form is required, and that needs to be filled out by your child's pediatrician. It's not something you can fill out and just sign. It has to be signed by the doctor, him or herself.
And all adults coming have to have their
Exactly.
A, B,
So,
and C health forms.
If you have not scheduled your physical already, I do it now because it tends to get busy.
Mm-hmm. And they also request a vaccination form too.
Yeah, so I think the COVID guidelines may or may not change as we get closer to camp. So there may be, we just have to be flexible on that one.
Yeah.
Those doctors are retired.
I'm looking on the website now and it just says that 2022 guide is pending.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing official yet.
Nothing.
Aaron, the one thing I'm wondering, it's like, can you access your CDC information through the Mass website? Because I know Massachusetts, Connecticut, you can actually log into the government websites now and produce your own vaccination card.
No, the COVID isn't the problem. I'm talking about like childhood immunizations.
Oh, I'm sorry. Whenever I see vaccination now,
There is a test that you can get because can have done to prove that you've had your childhood some of your vaccinations as a child, and I don't remember what that's called.
But is it you can get titers, but that's multiple tests.
yeah, I
So-
know you do need recent vaccination records.
Yeah. Even if just the tetanus isn't enough anymore.
I believe there's a couple other things as well, Aaron.
Okay.
If you
'Cause
download the ABC form,
Yeah.
they'll provide you everything you need.
Right, but like Pierre's doctor's been, dead for probably decades by now.
sorry.
So I'm not sure how I'm going to get his records for camp. So that's my issue.
Does he have a new doctor yet?
He does, but they don't have access to them because they don't have his pediatric records.
I would just read the forms and just have the doctors fill out as much as they can.
Okay.
That's all we can ask for, because that is a really good question. I think yeah, that as long as he's current on most of everything, he should be fine.
Okay.
When I
Especially with you two working in the medical field, that's the other thing too.
Right.
when I went to day camp, I didn't have my medical records either, and it was the titers that I was able to get the test for, and they give you a new form that tells them that you've been vaccinated for all what you need. Your doctor can do that. Your current doctor can perform that.
So with the question about COVID vaccinations, the way it worked this past season, and whether or not it's going to be going forward with this season, last season, if you were immunized for the COVID vaccination, you had to bring your vaccination card with you and attach it to your ABC form. If you were not vaccinated, you had to provide a rapid, I believe, within 24 hours of going to summer camp saying that you were negative for COVID. So whether or not they're going to be doing that again this season, I don't know. But I would assume they would be on the safe side.
Yeah, it was a test within 3 days because you could order it through the council.
Okay,
and
thank
then
you.
we mailed it out. It was,
It was for
spit
both
test.
adults and kids. Because we have to go by guidelines are set forth by the state and national. So as we get closer and closer to summer camp, I don't know about that because I don't know if you can bring your own rapid test just because they weren't available last year, and I don't know what stipulations they're going to have for this year. So we have to wait until we get closer and closer to summer camp because again, we rely on what the state of Massachusetts produces as well.
My
And what's
kids
allowed.
have Mass Health, and they have a contract with CVS Pharmacy, so you can order up to 3 rapid test kits a month through CVS if your kids have Mass Health. And so I have about a dozen test kits. That way, if anyone like catches a cold and it's lingering, we could like test and do that at home. So that's why I was asking, is because if I still have
I don't
some.
think it was like last season. I don't think, even though rapids were coming out, I do not think they were allowed. I think if I'm using the right terminology, and Aaron, correct me, please, I think it's a PCP test you have to take.
So nowadays, the CDC guidelines and DESE, which is what a lot of scouts go by, is the DESE guidelines, is that you can do a home antigen test or you can do the PCR test.
A PCR, thank you.
Yep, the home antigen detects the actual viral load, and the PCR looks for the genetic material of the virus. But they're saying now it doesn't matter. They don't need to have a healthcare professional like proctoring the test anymore. So they're honoring the rapid test as a backup if you become symptomatic or to even screen yourself.
Yeah, but just be aware through your unit as we come closer and closer to summer camp, and sign up for the council emails, the district emails, and so forth. Those will keep you the most informed of what is required for summer camp. Because things were changing up to the very last minute last year. I'm hoping that doesn't happen this year, but just be aware that could happen. Bring plenty of rain gear. Hopefully we will not have the wet season we did last year.
Greg's supposed to be at camp. It's not going to rain. The week he was up there, it did not rain.
He lucked out.
I know.
Yeah, for
bug
summer
spray.
camp, I'll tell you this for summer camp guys, especially if you do the day camp or if you're doing the overnight camp with your scouts, it's not hardcore camping we're doing here. So if you're going up yourselves, put extra stuff in your car, because that way at least you have it readily available in case we have the monsoon season we had last year.
Yeah. You want to bring bug spray, tick repellent. Ticks were horrible up there last year, and I'm assuming they will be horrible again. They're already out, so.
No flip-flops are allowed in camp. You can probably use them down at the waterfront, and that's it. So flip-flops are out. As far as my knowledge is, any type of sandal is out unless it's covering the toes. But again, that's still
It needs
everything.
to be closed shoe.
Yeah, exactly. So
Closed shoe.
make sure you have durable footwear. The trails at camp can be a little bit aggressive at times. So, and it's very easy for you to twist your ankle if you're not paying attention. So does anyone else have any questions about summer camp coming up? You guys are allowed to recruit at a PTO event, if that's the question. Just let council know that you're going to be participating in the PTO recruiting event, and just make sure you are in full uniforms, the scouts and the leaders, and then they will be able to give you membership information to hand out at that event as well.
Mm-hmm.
If that answers the question. And take pictures. We love posting things to the Facebook page.
Oh, yes.
Any other questions at all? So as Greg had mentioned, I'm doing my little training spiel here in the last couple of minutes we have. If you have not taken blue training, I would suggest taking the blue training coming up at the end of this month. As Greg mentioned, you do need at least one blue leader trained. You need at least one leader trained in blue for any type of overnight camping. And number two, I definitely, me and Rebecca would definitely recommend this as well, is possibly attending the wood badge course in the fall. It's not an outdoor how-to course. It's more of a leadership course where you learn team building, project management. You learn how to interact with each other, like active learning and so forth. So it's a really great experience. Me and Rebecca both went through it together, actually. And then we both went back there as guides are the following course.
How do you add Novas to your membership?
Is there an actual membership card, Rebecca? Would you know?
No, you just register for it. Use this adult application for that.
I don't think they actually give you a separate membership card for Nova.
Mm-mm.
I think you're labeled as a Cub Scout leader.
It's more along the lines of I'm on there as a den leader. I just want to. I got really excited when I heard when I was listening to this thing, and I have no idea how. I guess they said like put 58 on your application. Well, I did that back in December, and I had no idea.
I don't know if Scout Book actually has that position.
Yeah, I don't know.
I've never seen it.
So then how are we just being a den leader allowed to, are we allowed to help them with that? Or is that something that just, because I want to make sure that I'm able to help them with that. And then I want to get more information to help, because I don't know. I have a bunch of geeks as kids that are older, and like my youngest is the one in Scouts, and he is very much interested in stuff like that too. So I want this program to be beneficial for him. That's why I'm trying so hard.
I don't know how that actually get labeled, because I've put my information in a bunch of times, and of course, I don't know where it's gone to because I've never seen it show up. So
I'm actually trying to pull it up now. See if I can find it online.
I will do my best to figure that out and have it for the May in-person roundtable, because we'll be doing STEM activities at the May in-person roundtable.
That's at WOA, right?
That is at WOA.
Yeah, I think for Nova, you just register as a Nova counselor, and if you are in Scout Book as a leader, you can add what they do once you are a counselor. You don't have to.
Yeah, I don't see it as being listed as a separate position online.
No, but you can give like if you have a different Nova counselor in your unit and there's not a then leader, you can add them those privileges in Scout Book so they can add the information. But you just can do it as a then leader. But you have to be a counselor.
So I'm just going to pass the baton to our special guest hosts tonight. We have Keith Nelson and John Pluto from Maine High Adventure, and they're here to discuss a little bit about the program that they offer up in Maine. And I'd like to welcome them as guests, and hope everyone has some good questions for them, and they're going to explain what they do up in Maine. And I'm going to share something afterwards if they have a few minutes after their time. So take off. You can go ahead, John and Keith. Go ahead, and then we'll listen in.
Okay, thank you, Matthew. How much time have you allotted us?
About 20 to 25 minutes. So take as much time as you need. And
yeah, I'm going to very briefly introduce myself, and then I'll give Keith the chance to do the same thing. Maine High Adventure is a council-operated high adventure program. It was a national program for its first 20 years, and then it returned to management by the Katahdin Area Council, which incidentally is David O'Leary's home council. So a little plug here for the home team. We are celebrating the 50th year of operation of the program. We can play with the dates because there was a council canoeing program that preceded Maine High Adventure that goes back into the 60s, but we're not going to split hairs. I am a volunteer. Our program has one year-round employee, and that is Keith. And he is assisted by a large group, about 25 to 30 volunteers, which we call our advisory committee. And I'm pleased to be working with a lot of people who support this program in so many, many ways. But you don't want to hear about that. You want to hear about our program. And before I jump into, I'll need to do a share screen because I have a PowerPoint, but I'll give Keith a chance to say hello.
Sure. Thanks, John. While you get that ready, thanks for inviting me. Once again, my name is Keith Nelson. I've been with the BSA about 10 years, but I'm fairly new to Maine High Adventure. I spent about 7 years at Northern Tier High Adventure before moving to Philmont Scout Ranch, where I spent the 3 prior years to my arrival at Maine High Adventure. I've been with Maine High Adventure for about a year, and I can vouch for its authenticity as a true BSA high adventure experience. We do both, predominantly we do backcountry canoe treks on mostly swift and rapid moving water, but also lakes as well. And we also do backpacking treks, but probably about a quarter to a third of our crews will do both. And we call it the surf and turf, where you get a backcountry canoe trek followed by a lot of our crews like to hike Mount Katahdin, which is the highest peak in the state. And it's kind of, if you've been to Philmont, Katahdin's kind of like the tooth of time of Maine High Adventure. But I think as John goes through his presentation and you guys write down any questions you have, you realize that we have a quality program at a good price, and it's just in your backyard. So once again, thanks for inviting me. And has anybody been to Maine High Adventure before? Okay, a couple of people, great. So we have some experience. Great. I know Dave's been there. Hey, Dave. All right, John, are you ready with that share screen?
Well, let's see what happens. You know, over the last couple of years, just with scouting, I've probably done 150 Zoom meetings, but there's always this question when I want to do something like a share screen that when I press the button, is this really going to happen? So, hey, look at that. Oh, my screen went black for a second. So do you folks all see the first slide of the PowerPoint?
It says you're starting screen sharing. There it is. Yep. Go ahead.
Okay, because when I opened this, I kind of lost sight of everybody who's out there. All I can see is my screen share. It's probably because I put it on full screen, but I just like, the less I tinker with this, the better off we're all going to be. I am not Jim Minner. He is another member of our advisory committee, but he is the gentleman who spent a lot of time putting together this PowerPoint. And his perspective was, he attended this program as a youth, and then he brought his troop to Main Adventure 5 different times over his career as a Scoutmaster. And so he's seen it from the participant point of view, and he's seen it from the adult leader participant point of view. This is Main High Adventure, and our website is at www.mainhighadventure.org. We are a high adventure base. We are an outfitting base. And so when we talk about Matagamon, you would spend your first day, which is an orientation day at Matagamon, and you would come off the trail on your last day. We are not a residential camp. We are a base camp. It was founded in 1971 on a national basis, and it's gone through a bunch of different names, but High Adventure became a national scouting sort of concept in the early 70s, and Main High Adventure was the first new base that was part of that. Main High Adventure preceded the establishment of Sea Base. Some of the other bases that were in there, there was a Land Between the Lakes and so on. And it was operated as a national program for 20 years. It had 2 bases for almost all of those 20 years. In 1 year, we actually had 3 bases because there was an overflow of people, a national jamboree or a world jamboree. The one in Iran was canceled in '79 because there was a revolution, and there were a bunch of scouts from around the world looking for places to go. We have hosted primarily male crews, but a number of male crews and co-ed crews since the 1970s. And we say that now, it's like, well, why would you tell us that? Let me tell you, in the 70s, that was a big deal. And there was a lot of discussion and how do we do this type of thing? On the map, the area in northwestern Maine that's highlighted in light green is our operating area. If you were to draw a line down the east side of that green area, there's a highway, and to the west of that highway, the moose outnumber the people. It's most of those towns in there don't even have real names. They are referred to by a grid system. And again, just in the world of trivia, the town I live in is up here where US Route 1 hits the northern border of the state of Maine. As far as accessibility, one of our big advantages is for people in the Northeast, particularly in New England, we are generally just a day's drive away. Our base camp at Matagamon is about 5.5-hour drive from Boston. And we've all highlighted Portland and Bangor as larger, well, by Maine standards, larger cities along the way. We have a lot of experience in offering canoe treks. I can tell you, because I worked for this program in the early 70s, the canoes are not aluminum anymore. They're not wood canvas anymore. They're plastic. But if you had attended this program 50 years ago and you were to attend it this summer, the basic program, the interface of young people and the outdoor resource has not changed that much. We do practice leave no trace techniques. We stress the patrol method. You were able to camp and cook on an open fire, and we really stress youth-led crews. The whole concept of high adventure is if you want to retain your older scouts, they get 13, 14 years old, they've been to scout camp for a couple of summers, they've taken the merit badges they're most interested in, they're going to be in high school, are they going to get a job, is sports going to be the #1 thing? If you want to retain those scouts in whom you invested so much time, you need to challenge them. And a high adventure is one way to do that, whether it's an experience that you put together or if it's one that you do through an established base that allows a lot of the logistics to be passed off to that base. We are a very small program. We have, we're anticipating 55 crews this summer. And if you contact Maine High Adventure to schedule something, to plan something, you will deal with our director. You won't deal with a reservation clerk. You won't deal with a file clerk or somebody like that. You will deal with the director, and that's Keith. And so we are very proud. And the only reason we can do that, and this is not to take anything away from a much larger program, but when they're dealing with, say, as many people arrive in, say, 2 days as we see all summer, it's just much harder in a big base to individualize things. Our program is flexible. There is a minimum stay of 6 nights. There's no maximum. As long as you reserve early enough, you can plan, well, we want to arrive on a Wednesday and leave on the following Wednesday. It's not like, say, traditional scout camp where, well, you arrive Sunday and go home on Saturday. We do not have canned trips. We do have major waterways that are like our interstate highways. And because a lot of our treks are operated on rivers and streams, you really can't paddle upstream unless you really want to challenge yourself. But each trek is planned by the group, by the crew on their orientation day. You will have the services of a guide. This is a young adult who is licensed by the state of Maine as a summer camp trip leader. They are well trained in the ecology, the history of the area. The North Maine woods are the largest undeveloped piece of real estate east of the Mississippi. And a lot of people say, well, wait a minute, you're a day's drive, if that, from Boston. How come this hasn't been all divided up into smaller chunks and things like that? And that's part of the history of the area. What shaped it, what forces, what markets shaped it. Our guides are highly trained. Our guide training takes 3 weeks because there is so much to cover. And a big difference between Maine High Adventure and a base like Summit or Philmont is we do not have staffed trail camps. Your program is what you and your guide make it as you go through your trip. And if it's like, well, we want to do a lot of fishing, well, then that's one of your program things. But you won't really see from when you leave the base until you come back, you won't see any other of our staff people than your guide. We have been established in the area a long time. We have good relationships with our neighbors. One of our neighbors is Baxter State Park, which is where Mount Katahdin is located. We're basically at the doorstep of Baxter State Park. The guide is with you for your entire trek. The guide carries a 2-way radio because in most of our operating areas, cell phones are useless. The guide is familiar with local laws, knows how to navigate, knows not only the history, but the natural history. They're trained in wildlife identification, plant, tree, and that sort of thing. We really stress the patrol method. If this program is going to be successful, the scouts have to come back a stronger unit. And we really we don't want the guide to be out there, okay, it's time to get up, okay, it's time to cook. We want the guide to be in the background. Think of them like a commissioner. They are a resource. If you need to know what's the best way to cook beef stroganoff, high adventure style, they can help with that. If you need to be brushed up on canoe strokes, they can help with that. We provide total outfitting. You provide yourselves, your clothing, your personal gear, sleeping gear. We provide tents, canoes, paddles, life jackets, trail food, cooking gear, a trail stove. We provide transportation. Almost all of our treks involve being dropped off somewhere and being picked up somewhere else. There is a lot of travel involved because this is a big area we operate in.
And John, I'm going to jump in and also mention that we take care of your permits as well, and permitting can be a lot of paperwork, so we're glad to help crews with that. And then also, I think we're about halfway done, and so if we run out of time today, we can always schedule a follow-up Zoom with your troops or any other groups that you want us to. But yeah, John, I think we have about 10 minutes left.
Yeah, and I think you're stretching that, but okay, I'll talk faster. High adventure is a challenge for groups that have done a lot of weekend or traditional scout camp. This is a way to kind of take things to the next level. This is not some sort of a challenge program, but just being out there, paddling into the wind, paddling in bad weather, there is a degree of challenge. We stress again that the patrol method, youth leadership. And let's see if I've lost the ability to, no, okay, I don't want to, there I go. Okay, back on track. What does an MHA trek look like? You arrive on the far side of our lake. You cross the lake in a pontoon boat. There's something about leaving the highway behind. It makes it feel like people are heading on to an island. You'll be greeted by your guide. Some people claim that our guides walk on water. That's not really true, but they will welcome you at the boat dock on the bay side of the lake. You'll unpack and you go through a number of stations on this orientation day. You go to the map room. We've got boards on the walls with topographic maps of our area posted. That's just a quick orientation. As you go through the day, the guide tries to assess what are the scouts talking about, what do they seem interested in, and assess as well, how well does this group work together? Are they older scouts, very physical? Are they younger scouts? But most importantly, what is their attitude? You'll go through a gear, we call it a shakedown, bring the things you need, but not so many things that you're overloaded. There is a basic swim test, and we also have a demonstration, or each set of paddlers will do a canoe over a tea rescue with a canoe. And that's partly to show how it's done. It's also partly to show, to see how well scouts can handle a canoe. The first night you will spend on the base at a trail-bound campsite. The next day you'll paddle across the lake, load up in a van, and head off to your drop-off point. Program possibilities, well, some are not possible. You're not going to see Jaws at Maine Adventure. Maine also does not have poisonous snakes. We do have whitewater. We've got moving water. We've got flat water. Most treks involve some of each. You can have nights because there's no light pollution, where you can just see more stars than you could imagine are out there. This is an Allagash trip. That's one of our more popular areas. It's a well-known area. Sometimes people just want to have a day to sit back and relax. We stress good preparedness so that your feet don't end up looking like the ones in the picture. Fishermen, if they're successful, can supplement the diet. There are historical oddities like a couple of locomotives at the side of a remote lake. There are some ice caves. There are some places where there are fire towers, which are no longer, lookout towers no longer in active use. There's Mount Katahdin. Several different ways to get up there. None of them are easy. And there's a thing we call rump bumping, where you go down stream through a rough area safely, life jackets, helmet, and so on. If you're lucky, you might be able to sail part of a lake. Navigation is old style, canoe, or not canoe, compass and topo map. Wildlife in abundance, bald eagles, loons. Signature animal has got to be the moose. Polling a canoe. The trick question is, how do you know that's not a scout group? The answer is no life jackets. We adhere strictly to BSA policy. If you want to challenge yourself, there's the mud pond to carry. When you get back off your trip, some people like the Moxie challenge. To some people it's disgusting, to others it's delightful. Some groups contract with a flying service to get a little look of where they had been. We serve beans and beanhole beans and Frank's as the last evening meal. We have cabins you spend your last night in, and we have good shower facilities. They're being re-roofed in the picture to the right. And before you know it, it's time to go home, reverse the process, cross the lake. There are things to see on the way. There's a Lumberman's Museum in Patton. Some people like to do whitewater rafting. We are not equipped to do that, but we can refer you to an outfitter, something you could do either on the way up or the way back. And let's see. Paul Bunyan statue in Bangor. Fort Knox is not far from Bangor. It's a huge fort. All sorts of things you can plan your trip around, including LL Bean and eating lobster and all sorts of things like that. So I'm going to move right through this. Fitness is important. This is probably more like a half-hour PowerPoint. If you would like to see it, Keith, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you go to our website, I believe there is a link to the PowerPoint as one of the resources. And ask Keith to correct me if I'm wrong, but I am prepared to exit this.
Yeah, John, while you do that, you're absolutely right. The website has more resources. It's just mainhighadventure.org. And also our Facebook page, Main High Adventure, we post periodically on there to give updates and share information. But yeah, like I said, we're happy to do follow-up calls with your troops individually. And John, that was an incredibly, I liked how you picked up the pace, and in the last 10 minutes, you shared a very concise, but you covered everything. And so we'd love to share more detail about that. Cost is about $110 per person per day, but like John said, that covers everything included. And if you compare to other high adventure options, you'll find that we're really economical, especially considering your transportation fees. But Matthew, I think we're running out of time. So if there's anything else, if we have more time, we can take questions and answers. Otherwise, we'll follow your lead.
Okay, I'd like to just quickly share just an experience that I had a few years ago. I went in 2019 to Maine High Adventure with a small crew from my area, and I just have a few photos I'd like to share just from my particular trip. So pardon me. So let's see. So like you said, we had a great guide. We had our pontoon boat. We did some cool cliff jumping. This is the van we took across to get to the area where we went. We did mostly flat lake. Here's another guide, and we had all of our material. We had to canoe in and out of the area we were in on those nice canoes there. Great camping experience, and you get to see some wildlife. For example, a few moose we had there when we were. It was awesome to be able to see one in person. That was one of my life goals, is to see a moose. Blueberries were just growing everywhere, so if you love blueberries, this is a great trip for you. Collect cupfuls of blueberries. Let's see, yes, an example of us canoeing. More moose. And our guide and some of our crew went fishing. They really enjoyed the experience because some of them are really into fishing, and they even were successful. This young man here, he was there with his father, and he had a great time. And we just celebrated his Eagle Scout ceremony, and he credited the most kind of amazing experience he had in scouting was Maine High Adventure. So I just wanted to kind of share that. Something that was like a pinnacle of his scouting career was going into that trip with us. So I just wanted to kind of share a little brief personal experience with my Maine High Adventure trip.
Thank you for that.
That's
Thank you,
powerful.
Keith and John. Thank you so much. Oh, welcome back to the main room, everyone. Do we have any questions or any topics that anybody wanted to share or chat about?
I think we were still talking about STEM when we left the Cub Scout breakout.
Okay.
Is Greg still on by any chance, or is he gone?
We have a question from Renee. What is the fee for NYLT?
It's the same as summer camp.
From
Greg, maybe you
Nell.
know this. Maybe you know the answer to this question. For a NOVA counselor, do you happen to know if it shows up in our scouting profile if we're registered as a NOVA counselor, or is that grouped under something else? I cannot seem to find the answer online.
Can you just repeat the question again?
Sorry. You know, like when you log into my.scouting.org, you can see your registered positions.
Yes.
Does NOVA counselor show up as a registered position?
It should.
Okay. So if someone is submitting an application and it's not showing up as a NOVA, should they just reach out to council and go from there?
Yes.
Okay.
So a related question to that is from Stephanie. Do we need a separate NOVA counselor?
Rebecca?
I don't think so. I think as long as you can be the den leader and a NOVA counselor as well. You don't need a separate one, but if you're working with like your child, you really should have somebody to just check off the work, make sure you're not just signing them off.
Okay. Okay, thanks. And Rebecca, while you're there, Amber asked, can you be registered as a merit badge
I already
counselor?
answered that one.
Okay. Or are we
Yeah, you
limited
can
to
be
one?
you could be
Okay.
NOVA counselor, merit badge counselor. It
Okay.
doesn't make a difference.
All right. Scouts BSA breakout, how much sailing can the boys do while there? Is John
We
still with
talking at
us?
Main High Adventure?
I believe so, John.
Okay, that depends on a few things. Basically, what you use as a dining fly is a sail. It's pretty crude. It's not like you can tack and so on. So if you're lucky and the wind is at your back, is when you're going down a lake, you might be able to get in up to 10, 12 miles of it. So it's really weather variable. And you also need, obviously, you're going to have a hard time doing that on a stream or a river, but so you need a long lake that's oriented the way the wind is blowing that day.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, John.
Ellie, I see a question I think I can answer.
Okay.
Kara asked, can a NOVA counselor be assigned in Scout Book? And at this point in time, that's not a feature of Scout Book, so it does not work like merit badge counselors.
Okay. And Shannon, or, okay. Somebody said off topic, but Roundtable, there's nothing off topic. This is why we have the forum. Memorial Day, are any troops laying wreaths? Troop 359 from Wilbraham would like to participate. So if anybody wants to put stuff in chat or whatever. I think we got
Although
all.
we'll be replacing flags, but not wreaths.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Lori. And Lori, should anybody who wants to participate contact you?
I'm not sure if Laura's going to answer. I was going to say, depending on where you live, reach out to your local veteran service officer. Every town in Western Mass has one. They're usually located in your town hall or city hall. And the veteran service officer is the one that typically organizes either reflaying or flag placement for Memorial Day and Veterans Day.
Okay.
Yep, good answer.
Okay. Any other questions that anybody has? All right. Then I will turn it over to Matt for our closing.
Okay, I was caught off guard by that. Sorry, sorry, Ellie. It's been a few minutes since I thought about that. So,
Okay, I'll give you a minute to think about it because I want to remind people of May 14th is the STEM hands-on roundtable up at WOA. And you'll register just like you do for a regular roundtable. And then June 11th during the WOA, that will be the program launch, and Roundtable will have a table there with the updated information and plans and things for next year. Next year's Roundtable, well, usually we have the draft calendar out for everybody. And so there will be no official Roundtable per se, but if you stop by the Roundtable setup, you will get credit for attending Roundtable in June, and that will go towards your training awards and things like that too. So, thank you, Matt.
okay. Let's see. So basically, I would like to probably just do a brief recollection of what I spoke of on the Scouts BSA breakout. I just was participating in a Eagle Scout ceremony for one of the newest Eagle Scouts for our district, and it was a life-changing experience for that scout to go through the scouting program. And I was seeing the emotions of all the leaders involved with his Trail to Eagle, parents that were involved, and the scout himself, and how much he's matured. Even just seeing some slides of him growing from a cub into a scout and into an Eagle Scout, and just how much he has kind of matured as a person. And it was very heartwarming to see that. And he obviously gave credit to a lot of folks that helped him. And I just wanted to kind of remind everyone that if you are questioning kind of your role in scouting and what scouting is all about, get to an Eagle Scout ceremony if you can. It kind of rekindles that spirit for you as a leader as to why we do it. It really captures the moment of the maturity and what the program does for scouting, for scouts, and how they become adults and how they become the citizens of the country that we are looking for them to be. So I'm sure it happens at other honor ceremonies, etc. as well, but an Eagle Scout ceremony is just a pinnacle, and I would like to encourage everyone to try to attend one if possible, or find out when you can be a part of a ceremony like that, because it really helps to rekindle that scout spirit in you. That's my closing.
Thank you everyone for joining us tonight. We will see you all hopefully up at the Scout Reservation on the 14th of May.